Good evening, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show, Post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports. Good evening again. My name is Big Reg, and I'm joined this evening by my partners in crime. How you doing this evening, J3?
What's going on? How everybody doing?
We got my man Professor in the building. What's going on, Professor J? How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Greetings to everybody out there, and praise the Lord. Let's get it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Back in the building after a small hiatus, our man Jay Wills. What's going on, Jay Wills?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm feeling extremely well, energized. I feel like I got the energy of J.R. Smith, but I will keep my shirt on.
Thank you. Boy, we appreciate that, bro. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And our man Ed will probably be joining us later on in the evening. And back in the building, our special correspondent. We got Sense in the building. What's going on, Sense? How you feeling, brother?
All right. Hey. What's going on, folks, fam? What's going on, everybody? Ready for another wonderful Tuesday evening of sports talk. Let's go.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Before we get really going, I'd just like to tell everyone who tuned in last week, we do apologize for the technical difficulties. Unfortunately, sometimes they are beyond our control. So we just keep working through it. Please stick with us. We're always improving, trying to make it better, and we're going to continue to bringing you the hottest topics in sports each and every week to the best of our ability. It was Ed's fault.
Blame it on the guy that's not here.
Right. I like that. So this evening we will discuss the LA Lakers' 17th title, Week 5 of the NFL, our college football update, Major League Playoff baseball update, our post takes, some other topics that caught our attention, and of course, our final post of the evening. Again, we appreciate you tuning in. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. All right, Sense, I'm going to come to you early. Since I know you're the happiest person here on the show tonight.
Yes, right. I am.
We got to say congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers, who went to sleep in Game 5. Everybody except for LeBron, but came back in Game 6 and did their thing and beat the worn-out Miami Heat, who valiantly battled to a 6th game, but did what they're supposed to do, giving King James his 4th title, 4th MVP on the 3rd different team, and the Lakers tie the Boston Celtics with 17 for the most titles ever. So, how you feeling, Sense?
Well, I am feeling wonderful, stupendous, tremendous. Let's go, baby. Yes. Woo, been waiting for this moment.
Man, you feeling a little too good over there, man.
You called it.
I said it from the beginning. Lake Show was going to win it. Oh, did I not? Especially you, because you called it. On your Clippers.
Yeah, you're right. You called it. Hey, hands down, props to you. Yes, indeed.
I got a question.
Appreciate that.
I got a basketball question for you. Do you prefer when LeBron is running the point as a point forward, or do you like when Rondo's running the point? Which offense do you like better?
I actually like it when Rondo's running it because
me too.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron gets burned out too fast if he runs the point, and it takes away from his true talent, which is getting to the basket. They have the same IQ, but Rondo is more, of a point guard type where let me set you up to get the basket rather than LeBron, where he should be getting the points rather than trying to get everybody else involved.
Well, that makes it a guarantee that the rest of these teams are going to be chasing after LA, and during this offseason, they're going to be picking up players because they know those are the guys they got to go through. Do you think that'll cause LA to possibly use someone as trade bait to bring in a fresher, maybe younger point guard than Rondo?
Well, don't forget they got a point guard that's going to be coming back that was balling, but
Avery
they decided
Bradley.
to sit out because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Avery Bradley is not that much of a ball handler to me. I think
But he plays defense.
Oh,
He plays
does
defense.
He can shoot.
Defender. Yeah.
Does he get a ring?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Boogie gets a ring too.
Yeah, he can shoot.
So the question will be, and see, y'all already jumped into the off season. Let's talk about the game a little bit before we get to what's going to happen next season.
My bad.
Yeah,
That was Jay Wills.
I'm excited.
So first and foremost, do y'all think that King James deserved his 4th MVP over AD?
Yes. I think from top to bottom, when you look at how LeBron commands the team, whether he's running the point or he's off the ball, the way his emotions ignited them, even in the game that they lost, you could see that without his energy, they would have been totally in the dumps, no matter what game it was. I think LeBron deserves it because AD really only technically showed up and dominated in one game this series. Right. So you can't give the MVP to a player that only dominated once. And the game that they lost, he was extremely limited because he was hurt. He re-injured that foot. So with that said, I think LeBron deservedly got the MVP, and anybody that says any differently really didn't watch this series because it's about finals MVP, not the overall work that went throughout the playoffs. Now, if you did it that way, then we could probably argue in the other direction.
But the thing about it is AD kind of like shriveled, like sometimes in those moments where LeBron was like, and it took LeBron to push that button, like, come on, AD, I need you to step up, rather than AD taking the initiative and being that, beast himself and taking over. So LeBron deservedly, in my opinion, won the MVP.
This was AD's first time to the party. He doesn't know exactly which door to get in, which bartender to get the best drink from. So he needed an individual like LeBron who's experienced, who's been there before when he hit those little lows and couldn't necessarily find what he needed within himself. He knew he could tap into a guy who's been at the finals so long that he's made it his home. So yeah, he was definitely the MVP in my view.
If AD wanted to be the MVP, he should have played like it. He was overmatched on every person that defended him, and he did not take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you.
I also think they had him out of position defensively as well. Instead of him playing at the top to meet Jimmy Butler in the game that they lost, you see when they put him back in the paint, he was a dominant force where he needed to be, rebounding, shot blocking, doing everything that they needed him to do. If he was there as opposed to out on the perimeter, they would have won that game before that.
And that's what everyone kept saying: play AD at the 5, and you get more reward than risk from that.
But they, in the instance of Jimmy Butler, I mean, let's be real. Jimmy Butler was that dog. What's up, Big Ed? Glad to have you, bro.
Hey, Big Ed.
Hello, everybody.
What's going on?
Yeah, so Jimmy Butler was that dude, and so I think they was willing to try anything and everything to stop him, or at least slow him down. Nothing was going to stop him.
Yeah.
So let's look ahead. Lakers
Whoa.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, chime in.
Did I interrupt you guys or come in at a time when you guys were talking about the MVP?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, of course, any finals that LeBron is associated with and he wins, he should be the MVP.
I agree with it.
Really, Ed? You come in like that.
Tell us how you really feel, Ed.
Well, I mean, it's true. And we're not going to debate the greatest because that's unfair to the two people they most associate with the greatest. I mean, it's like debating, is BMW better than Mercedes? It's an irrelevant conversation. I mean, everyone has their preference, but getting back to the MVP, definitely LeBron James was the MVP. It's like when you watch him play basketball, he's not even trying. And that's a testament. Anytime he pushes the throttle, he gets what he wants. So, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I heard that snicker, J3.
Is that before or after he runs you over? I'm trying to understand. Or keep up.
You
Which
can't help
part
that
is
he's
that?
6'9", 260. Come on.
Tell them other guys to get in the gym. It ain't his fault.
Right.
Get your weight up. Get your weight up.
Get your
Do
weight
some
up.
push-ups. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I just think him being 6'9" and or 6'8" or whatever his weight may be at this point in time is just a matter of how he's evolved over the years. I mean, this LeBron certainly isn't the LeBron of 15, 16, or even 10 years ago. His body's changed, and he's learned how to use it to his advantage, just like Air Jordan did as he grew older. So it's he's the MVP.
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
was just
let's
a
look at 2020, 2021. The Lakers have a bunch of players on one-year contracts. One that definitely needs to go is Danny Green, who's making, $14-15 million? I'm sorry,
Choke
Danny's
master.
washed. Danny's
Choke
a good
master.
player for the end of the bench for
Choke
4
master.
to $5 million. And they ain't trading him on a one-year contract.
Choke
Oh, that's
master.
I thought he was on more than one. I thought he signed a 2-year contract.
I thought it was a one. If it was more than one, it was a one with a team option. It wasn't his option.
Choke
I
master.
thought one was. I'll research that, but I thought it was 2.
Yeah. Rondo has a player option, so he has the decision on whether he's going. I'm sure he's going to opt out and look for more money.
Mm-hmm.
And rumor is that the people across the hall would love to see him come across the hall and run the show for them, because it was obvious they needed a point guard and a leader.
Though, when you have chemistry, when you got a team that's gelling and you guys have formed chemistry, like why more money is always enticing, but why leave a good thing where you already have a formula and everything's clicking on all cylinders? Why leave
Chasing that ring? Because you chasing that ring. You chasing that ring. I mean, look at it. Oh,
go ahead.
But
I was going to say, KD had a good squad when he was out in Oklahoma City. They still couldn't win. So what did he do? Chase that ring. Went across the way. Went to Cali. Got 2 rings. And then rolled out.
But
because he could have stayed at Golden State.
Are we referring to someone leaving the Lakers to chase a ring?
Right. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But in reality, as far as the Lakers team of next year of 2021, nothing is really in concrete except for, I believe, LeBron. I think majority of the players either have player options, or they're actually free agents.
Yeah,
and so
I'm sorry.
LA will be just fine. They're a destination. It's not like it's not like they can't attract free agents. Right. There are several people that's on the books right now that will be available. I think Fred VanVleet is one of them. I think
he's a free agent.
The 6th man of the year for the Clippers, I think Harrell is his name. He's a free agent. I've understood. There's rumors that him and Paul George don't get along. But the Lakers are going to get whoever they need.
As long as LBJ stays there.
Well, he's not going anywhere.
The main priority is to re-sign AD because he's also a free agent.
Here's what I think AD is going to do. AD is a Chicago native, and as crazy as it sounds, I think at some point in time in his career, he may want to give that a try, similar to what LeBron did with going to Miami, then doubling back to Cleveland before ultimately ended up in LA. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we're being realistic about LeBron, he may have, let's say, 2 to
3 years,
right, of what we've seen today. So with that in mind, if he has 2 or 3 years left, say AD signs a LeBron-like contract, the kind of contracts
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1.
Right. If he signs something along those lines, he has a little conversation with LeBron. Hey man, we might, let's run it back for another year or 2, and then I'm out. I'm going back and try to do what I need to do in Chicago. I think that works for everybody. And let's remember the West as we see it today. LeBron, all the stars kind of came along and aligned just right for LeBron. And I like LeBron. I'm not minimizing his accomplishment this year or the Lakers' accomplishment this year for number 17. But to be real, I doubt if Golden State will have the number 2 overall pick next year if everyone comes back healthy. So there's another team. The Clippers have to rebound. They're not scrubs. You have Denver right there. They might actually be the second best team. Well, actually they are the second best team by the end of this season. And then you have the Utah team. Everyone forget that Denver and Utah series could have went either way. So the West, you might see a return of the monster that is the West next year. So
Portland, Phoenix.
I'm sorry. I disrespected Phoenix. I'm sorry.
And don't forget the Mavericks either.
And
don't forget the Mavericks.
So it's not, it's no guarantee that the Lakers will be back. But I will say, as long as LeBron and AD are there, they will be in contention for another title.
Here's what I'm saying about the Clippers, though. Like, I mean, it's no guarantee that Harrell will stay there. Like as you said, he could either go across the hall or go someplace like New York, which is definitely going to try to offer him a whole boatload of money. So, I mean, it's no guarantee that the Clippers will even bounce back because, I mean, they're devoid of a leader, coach-wise, and, like, on the floor because Kawhi's not that dude. So who's going to step up and, in his place?
Splash Brothers.
I mean, you can't count on Golden State either. Definitely can't count on Golden State.
Okay. Yeah, they're coming back with a mission. So 2021 will be interesting. We will leave it again with congratulations to the LA Lakers, LeBron, AD, and my pick for the secret sauce of the playoffs, Rondo, and with his leadership and everything that got the Lakers over the top.
Lake Show.
So congrats. Let's move it on to, we got to get to the big gorilla in sports, the NFL.
How about them Cowboys?
Before we get to them Cowboys, we first got to hit the elephant in the corner. COVID continues to hit the NFL hard.
Yeah,
it also is killing NCAA football, but we'll deal with NFL right now. I mean, Titans-Bills game is actually being played tonight. It had to be moved several times because the Titans continued to have people test positive all through last week after our show got off, up until I think their last positive test was Saturday. So the last 2 days they've been negative. If I was the Bills, I'd be scared to death to play that team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Scared to death. You also have New England and Denver game, which was supposed to have been last night on Monday night. That got postponed and moved. So, I mean, the NFL is going to be in a very tricky situation because now you've got teams that have already used their bye weeks. And the NFL is going to have to, I think, extend this year. And they said they had the ability to do that. So look for a Super Bowl in March because they're damned sure that they're going to play all 16 games.
Real quick, Tennessee's up 7-0 against Buffalo.
All right.
I should have started.
So guys, do you feel that the NFL, and we've talked about this, we've exhausted this topic, but do you feel that the NFL should have implemented like a 20-week season where they automatically could have the flexibility to implement say 2 bye weeks, or 2 open dates, so that in case they had situations like this that would arise, it wouldn't come down to a complete total revamp of the schedule? Because right now what we have is all the NFL is doing right now is they're actually hoping and praying, so to speak, that there's not another outbreak, because the flexibility that they have and that they supposedly built into the season before the regular season got started, it's pretty much disappeared. Like really, like you said, Big Reg, several teams have already exhausted or used their bye week. So, for instance, what if the Pittsburgh Steelers automatically all of a sudden come down with an outbreak? They've already used their bye. Now what? So again, the NFL, in hindsight, they was not prepared for this, and now you hear whisperings that they're considering LA and Dallas as potential bubble cities for the playoffs.
It's all about the money, Ed. Come on, man. You know this. They more concerned about putting money in their pocket than the players that's on that field. Plain and simple. But
J3, they have the most money of all these leagues we discuss on this show. I don't understand why they wouldn't really think about a bubble concept for the regular season. And it's not like they could not afford it. It might not look exactly like the NBA, who didn't have one positive out of 3 months in that bubble, had no positives. The NHL didn't report no positives while they were in Canada playing their Stanley Cup playoffs. So what I'm saying,
you know, we don't get into politics too much on this show, but let's be real. Most of the owners in the NFL are aligned with a certain political organization.
So you better not say nothing about that.
So
you better not report you got players. Absolutely.
So they were following a lead that by this fall, everything was supposed to be okay.
And the NFLPA knew it. The players were speaking about it as well. They thought that they weren't putting in the right measures, the things necessary to guarantee that they would have somewhat of a healthy season. So it all comes back into their face, in my opinion. The NFL, they didn't do what was necessary. You knew this was on the horizon. It was affecting any and everything, and you didn't do what was necessary to protect the mother goose.
Right, you were just going to put something out on the field to appease certain people, and
and the players were screaming about it. They knew it. Now,
I mean, let's be real.
Doing what they got to do.
The Titans shouldn't be playing right now. The Titans were in their facility 2 days and 2 weeks.
Right.
But they're playing a game tonight.
They on right now.
So, I mean,
all bad.
Yeah. So they are hell bent. They're going, as we all gave our predictions, it's going to be a short season. I still think the season isn't going to go 16, but what they're going to be forced to do is what Major League Baseball is doing now. First, they're going to force the teams to do their in-city bubbles to try to protect players as more and more outbreaks come up, where every player is going to have to report to a hotel and they're going to be stuck there for the rest of the season. And then they'll give them a second opportunity to opt out. And then they will have bubble cities for the playoffs. That's the only way they're going to possibly be able to finish a season.
I agree.
Terrible.
The other somewhat big news before we get to the horrific news that happened, the Atlanta Falcons became the second team to make major changes.
About time.
Right.
After going 0-5, not only did they get the head coach, Dan Quinn, out of there, they told the GM he got to go too.
Yeah.
So
and for all intents and purposes,
Matty Ice, right?
Well,
yeah,
he's on the table.
Go ahead.
Well, for all intents and purposes, they did a complete house cleaning because they replaced the currently the interim coach is the former defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, and their main problem was defense. So you know that he's not going to be retained in any form moving forward next year. So he's out. Mr. Blank, the owner of the Falcons, was asked, well, what about Matt Ryan's future? And he was like, I can't answer that. So basically you have the quarterback, GM, and both coordinators, they're out. And remember, I told you guys, or I said I theorized a couple weeks ago about you're going to start seeing a lot of strange things happen with these bottom level teams because of the fact that the young man in Clemson, South Carolina, is being championed as the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck came out. I guess in that draft that RG3 came out. I can't remember exactly what year, but anyway,
2011.
You're going to start seeing a lot of strange things happen where teams are going to just be like, "I'm out." There's no incentive for me to win because there's no way whoever gets that pick is going to trade it. There's absolutely no way whoever gets that pick. I don't care if it's the Giants who drafted a quarterback recently in the first round, the Jets who drafted a quarterback recently in the first round, or a team like Atlanta who has an icon, albeit on his way out, with 1 foot out the door, Matt Ryan. That a lot of strange things are going to be happening in this season, in addition to the COVID situation, based on that first pick in this upcoming draft in 2021.
7 for Trevor.
Yeah, I heard that hashtag too. Yeah. If you ain't got a NFL MVP or somebody that's got recent votes, yeah, that position is up for grabs if you having a bad year. And don't forget the young fella out of Ohio State, Justin Fields. There's a whole bunch of teams that have seen what Baltimore did and saying, "Oh, Justin Fields," and seeing what Arizona's done, and it's like, "Oh, Justin Fields is kind of a hybrid in between those two." So
Ohio State quarterbacks don't have a great reputation.
I hear you. We're going to get to that in a second. So the heartbreaking news of the week. You with us, Jay Wills? You little quiet over there. Just want to make sure you okay.
Yeah.
That catastrophic injury while he was running the ball, trying to make a play, trying to get a first down. If Dak doesn't stiff arm the guy and just go down, Dak's probably still playing today. But instead, he's got a compound fracture of his right leg, dislocated ankle that they were able to put back in socket on the field, so that helped a lot. But now, after surgery, they've got to see whether Dak is going to be able to, A, not have any nerve damage, B, not have any infections in his leg, which was the problem that affected Alex Smith, who we'll get to in a second, and then C, if he can regain all his mobility. So, yeah, the Cowboys came back and won. Yeah, Andy Dalton is a good substitute for a short time. But tell me, guys, what y'all think about Dak and his possible future?
I think Dak's going to be just fine, man. I mean, as far as the situation that happened, it's unfortunate. But let's remember, Dak, he's getting $30 million this year, so it's not like he's going to be without not able to take care of himself moving forward, even if he can't return to football. But I actually think, as far as the medical professionals that are overseeing him and handling his injury, he couldn't be in a better situation because the team doctor, head of orthopedics for the Cowboys, don't forget he reconstructed, or he pretty much saved or resurrected Jalen Smith, the former linebacker from Notre Dame, who had a catastrophic injury in I believe it was the Rose Bowl when they were playing. I think it was Ohio State when he was at Notre Dame, and then Teddy Bridgewater, who had a catastrophic injury while he was in Minnesota, was also under his care when he suffered his injury. When he was a Viking, and now he's doing his thing down in Carolina. So it may take a while for Dak to bounce back, but he's a young man, and he's a smart young man, and he'll be just fine, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy next year. I think he'll be fine as far as his career is concerned. But I think this right here just put the icing on top of the cake as far as his career as a Dallas Cowboy. I think, we wish him well. Prayers go out to Dak, but start looking for your next city that you're going to play quarterback in. Because they're saying that, it could be a 6-month injury, but the lingering effects of it could last all the way up until training camp next year. So with that said, if the Cowboys play hardball with him now and he's balling out this year, cooking just as much as Russ, and see, I said this earlier, I think that had this been under normal circumstances and he wasn't pressing to show that he's worth every dime that he wants, he probably would have slid or went down. But because he's trying to do more, he's trying to put this team on his back. I think he was out there with a mentality like, I'm not going to be stopped until I get exactly what I want. And that's where you get these types of injuries from when quarterbacks don't know how to go down. We know that very well in this city with the G3 and everything, because he couldn't learn how to get down and get out of bounds after getting chunk yardage. So it's just that mentality. And I got to say this lastly, fellas, if the black quarterback didn't have these stipulations placed on him, would he, no matter who the individual is, be pressing so much to prove to the world that they can do things just as much as another type of quarterback? I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, I got to say that this definitely let Jerry off the hook and played right into his hands, because if you weren't trying to pay him, like, you know, then when it was time to, if Andy Dalton catches fire, like that is like prime reason to say, okay, we just go on roll with him and let Dak go elsewhere, which is a shame because I think Dak is the far more better quarterback. But, you know, we all know how the game is played, unfortunately.
But I think when roll back the tape, we said that was the reason why he brought the, what is he, the red rifle or whatever they call him?
Rifle. Yeah. He's a Texas quarterback, and he's from Texas. So.
But Andy Dalton is not the future. If he's looking to take that team to the next level, Andy Dalton is not your future quarterback. You got to bring Dak back if you want any chance to win in that next Super Bowl.
I don't know. That ain't what Jerry Jones been saying.
Right.
Somebody said he wasn't coming back anyway. Go ahead, Jay Wills.
After watching how Jerry Jones handled the whole Dak Prescott contract situation, do you think a premier quarterback on the rise actually will want to sign with Dallas?
It all depends on that paper. I mean, there's teams.
What do you have to do to get the paper? That's what that's basically the question I'm asking. If Dak didn't necessarily do enough, what is enough?
Dallas is in salary cap hell, so Dallas is looking to get a decent to very good quarterback because they feel like they've got all the weapons around to make a good quarterback great. So if Andy Dalton can play his Cincinnati Bengals playoff self, I think Andy Dalton gets a $20 million a year contract for 2 years to stay there, and they try to draft their future QB. As I told y'all, I thought Dak was gone anyway. I just have a different team now. The perfect place for Dak to go. Chi-Town. I thought it was Chi-Town.
No.
Indianapolis Colts. Have everything that Dak needs. That's a crazy offensive line, a great young defense. They've got a good young receiver. They've got a bunch of draft capital. They can draft another receiver next year. They got 2 stud young running backs. He can go to the Colts, get paid, and be in a better situation long term.
I agree.
Time will tell and see where he ends up at.
I would be
document that one
with Jerry Jones from here on out, and I don't see many other players not feeling that way a little bit.
This man is
that's something you gotta have in the back of your mind. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, for Dak and his people, the number starts at 37.7, which is the franchise tag for next year. If they come to him saying anything less, I'll be like, "Oh, we done."
Even with this injury, you still think he's gonna win it?
Yeah, and actually, this injury actually was a blessing in disguise, if as far as I'm concerned, for Dak, because I don't believe. I think he'll be one of the rare it'll be a rare situation where a young franchise type quarterback makes it to free agency without getting that second tag. I don't believe they're going to tag him next year. I just don't. Now that he suffered this injury, no matter what his health is moving forward, I just don't see it. I don't see Jerry Jones paying him $37 million, especially like Big Reg mentioned. If Andy Dalton has any type of success, now I watched Andy Dalton for 10 years, and he's not the answer. But hey, let Dallas find that out on their own.
Right. Like I said, maybe that change of scenery in Jerry's mind is going to do him good and finally break that plane to be that getting out of the first round type playoff quarterback.
Man,
Let's
Bill
move
Parcells
down.
said it best.
You are what your record say you are.
Right.
We right there. We right there, Ed. We right
Yes.
there. Let's move down the NFC East to the home team here locally with us.
Oh,
The Washington football team. Last week, after we got off the show, decided that they were benching second-year QB who has less than a season of starts, Dwayne Haskins, so that he could play his former Carolina Panther QB who lost his last 7 games, Kyle Allen, as the starter. And what happens?
Didn't fare too
Kyle
well.
Allen does what Kyle Allen does and tries to be I think he thought he was Cam Newton running toward the sideline, and then he realized after he took a hit from a cornerback that he was Kyle Allen and got knocked out.
Bum.
He heard them bells ringing.
Which leads
Birds
to the
around the-
remarkable us seeing Alex Smith on a football field again.
Yeah, I was scared to death.
I was scared to death too.
Scared to death.
Especially in the rain. My goodness.
Right. And when Donald landed on him, oh man.
When Donald jumped on his back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's crazy.
I'm so disgusted with the Washington football franchise. I don't even know where to begin, but I'm going to keep this short. I'm not going to go into no long narrative.
I'll pick up where you leave off.
I'm actually happy Dwayne Haskins got benched so he can get the heck up out of DC. The man had, I say maybe 12 or 13 starts in college. He had 1 year. He had this crazy year in college. He came to DC. He was pretty much forced into action when he technically, let's be honest, guys, he wasn't ready. He had no one cared enough to try to develop him properly. He's still not getting any support. And then you come up with a crazy idea that a loser like Kyle Allen could actually do something for the franchise that Dwayne couldn't do, which is crazy because if you trace Allen back to Texas A&M, oh my bad, he was benched in Texas A&M for Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
I mean, that forced him to quit on that team and leave and go to, I believe, Houston. So anyway, let's be real. The whole situation
I think it was
in DC,
Texas Tech, and they got benched there too.
the whole situation with DC just smells. I just don't like it. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And if the theory was, oh well, we're going to try to win some games because the NFC East is down. That's not how you that's not how you go about building a franchise. You don't try to take shortcuts. You do it the proper way. But again, like I've made note of it to some of you guys in some of our chats that we've had offline. I like I said, it's actually good for Dwayne. His body's not getting beat up. He has time to just get healthy and reflect on this horrible situation and try not to put himself in a situation like this again. Again, of course, he didn't have a choice as far as where he was drafted at. Well, not really had that. He could have insisted not coming to Washington, but again, he's from here, so I don't see why he wouldn't want to come back. But anyway, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. It's just bad. And I'm happy for Alex Smith. I'm glad he made a triumphant return to the field. So I don't want to minimize that part of the story. But as far as how they treated Dwayne, I'm just not happy.
So let's just call it how it is. Rivera has been an overrated coach for a very long time.
Yes.
This also makes Cam Newton look like an even much better quarterback because he actually developed himself. Let's just be real.
Yes.
He took that team on his back to a Super Bowl, into an MVP season, and Ron got a nerve even now to beat his chest about how he developed Cam Newton. Are we? Man, it seems like when people come to this town, they have revisionist history about how things actually go. So then you come here, and we did not expect you to develop Dwayne Haskins, which is the reason why when they said he was the coach, I was the first one screaming that was a bad hire. Because then when he brought along his little token, Kyle Allen with him, I knew that wasn't going to bode well for Dwayne Haskins. I was screaming on draft day 2 years ago because I did not want him to come to this city because of how they treated Doug Williams, then Jason Campbell, then RG3. There's a pattern with this ownership in this city and how they treat the black quarterback. So let's fast forward to now. I feel really bad about his cancer and all that kind of stuff, but as a X's and O's coach, he is not what people think that he is. So Dwayne should get on the first thing smoking out of here, and I hope my alpha brother can pull some strings to get him to a city where he'll be actually developed and he'll benefit from it. Yeah, and I agree he should go to Pittsburgh. I wanted Jalen Hurts there, but now Hurts is in Philly, so I definitely think Haskins can learn under a year or two behind Ben and have a stout defense, in that area. But I'm saddened because Dwayne really did not get a shot, and it's the same thing that we keep going through here. You want to talk about this, talk about that. Let's talk about the stats, and I'm done. If you look at Alex Smith and your boy combined, whether he got hurt or not, their stats weren't any better than Dwayne's behind the same play calls in that offense. They don't have a line. They don't have time. Terry McLaurin had the worst game of his career on Sunday, and you want to tell me that they bringing good changes to DC? Man, forget that.
Yeah, and you touched on it already. It's just, I'm going to go a little broader with it. It just continues to tell the tale of DC, of the Washington football team. It's the inconsistency, the dysfunctional vibe that's there. And as Max Kellerman said, and I hate that he even said it about this team, but the fish rots from the head down. And we can't. It still all goes back to Snyder and just that energy that comes from him that just kind of trickles down. And even if you add Jason Smith, who you, even if you bring in Jason Smith to come in and try to fix it, if the dude is still the owner of the team, nothing's really going to change because he's still making the decisions at the end of the day.
And since what does that tell you? That a brother in this league to be general manager got to come to a dumpster fire like the Washington football team in order to get a shot.
Yeah, set up to be the fall guy from jump.
Yep.
The Washington football team does not deserve my die-hard fandom. They have put horrible, not only just players, but the coaches together. They have put a horrible product on the floor. The office and the organization has been in shambles for the longest time. They've stiffed us not only on the field, but on prices for parking, tickets, admission. From top to bottom. I am disgusted with these dudes. When they brought Ron Rivera in, it was because they were supposed to be changing things around. One of the few minority coaches within the NFL. You changed a few guys within the organization, within the office. You changed the name. You took away the term that was supposed to be supposedly racist to certain individuals. You say you were turning this corner, that you were making a change, and then you turn around and you not allow a promising quarterback with a decent arm who seemed to want to be the best, who constantly worked out in the offseason, improved himself, dropped weight, got
Tell him, Jay Wills.
Was excited and energized to come into this season. Won your game one against the Eagles, in which you were down. That's the first time we had a comeback like that in a long time. They have definitely pushed me to that edge, and I will not subject my son to have to deal with this foolishness.
Excellent.
They come over to Baltimore second. I'm borderline done with these guys. They're disgusting trash.
Yeah.
And that's
thank God there's a team down the street 30 minutes away that I can root for.
Right.
Y'all need to join the line. I learned that 3 years ago. It makes your Sundays a whole lot better.
Yeah, you gave me that wisdom, didn't you? I'm learning.
All right, J3, you the diehard. Come on.
Hey man, I'm not gonna touch it because it's just disgusting. I don't even want to waste my energy on it. Let's move on.
Gotcha.
Man.
So my final question, then we'll just do a quick sprint through some of the scores. If you're Haskins, because the rumor is that they're supposedly trying to trade him either this season or off season. If you're Haskins, would you even want to stay here? And if not, what organizations besides the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I think would be a good place for him to go? No, I think that's a good place for him to go. So what other organizations might be a good place where he can go get his mind right and be with the organization who actually support him and look to him as the future?
Chicago. Or the Giants, which he said he was a fan of and that he initially wanted.
That's a dumpster fire too.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to New York.
Me neither. No,
Neither team in New York.
Right, neither.
Well, I think another team, again, because I don't know how many more years of Cam has left, or if he's going to even stay in New England, which if I was him, I would. I think New England would be an actual good place for the young man to end up. He can definitely be coached the right way, fully 110% supported, and given the time and the opportunity to actually develop.
Yeah, I think Cam going to set that market depending on if he stays in New England or he moves.
I would stay if I was him. I mean, I know New England's been tight with the dollar as far as the quarterback is concerned, but Cam got paper, and I ain't trying to get into his pocket like that. I mean, I know everybody got to get what they need to get, but I mean, when I watch Cam in that little small sample size that I've had so far, because I know he's been sidelined with COVID, but that small sample size that I got to witness while him being under center at New England looks completely different than what I've seen even in his MVP years in Carolina, which goes back to your point, Professor J, as far as he pretty much made himself down there.
What about the Jets?
Hey, Chris.
No.
The Jets are terrible. We're not going to any bad organizations. We don't wish that on the man. He already went through two staffs that didn't want him in a bad organization. Chris, I agree with you. Tampa would also be a nice spot.
Well,
You got an older quarterback. You got an older quarterback that's going to be there 1 year, 2 years, and then he can learn and then take over.
He can learn under Byron Leftwich too. Is the what is he the offensive coordinator down there?
Brady
Well, hopefully Leftwich will actually get a HC job, but we'll see.
Real quick update: Tennessee's up 14-7 against Buffalo.
Cool. All right, to give you folks some numbers, I know most of y'all already saw this, but the game of the week, you had the Las Vegas Raiders finally getting over the hump and beating the Kansas City Chiefs 40-32.
That's my damn Raiders.
Ed, I was wrong, and I'm saying it now. Your Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-0, and Roethlisberger, as long as that elbow stays intact, they're going to be something to deal with. They beat the Eagles 38-29.
The Eagles.
Russ is still cooking.
The Beagles.
Russ is the man.
Don't let Janine hear that. I'm going to get in trouble, y'all.
Yes, you are.
Claypool, baby.
Professor J's second favorite quarterback, Kirk Cousins, does just enough to keep the game close and then loses at the end. And what was Mike Zimmer thinking? Kick the field goal. You're on the 12-yard line, 8-point lead. Worst thing that can happen is you're going to overtime, but we won't get into that since we touched on the other things. Bears beat the Bucks. The only thing I can say about that is Thursday night and 43 don't go together. I'll just leave it there. And the Ravens defense are starting to look like the monsters we thought they might be. The offense is still a little shaky, but that defense is getting scary. So look out for the Ravens. And last but not least, I think the Browns actually might be a playoff team, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, they playing strong. They playing strong on both sides of the ball.
They play Pittsburgh this weekend. That'll be a get that you'll see. You'll know.
That's a good test. Yeah.
They
Good
going
test.
to that for them now.
Good test.
I think the AFC North might have 3 playoff teams.
We'll see. We'll see.
We will see. We will see.
How many coming from the NFC East?
Should be 0. Should be 0.
Oh man.
So your week 6 matchups to look forward to. You got the Browns at the Steelers Sunday 1 p.m. like Ed said. Bears at Panthers Sunday 1 p.m. And someone mentioned it earlier. Hats off to the Panthers and the quarterback who is really starting to look like he's going to do something special in Carolina if they continue to give him a chance. Packers Bucks Sunday 4:25. Chiefs Bills Monday night special 5 p.m. start time, and then the Cardinals Cowboys Monday night at 8:15.
That should be a good
Raiders
one.
Saints Chargers and Seattle all have bye weeks, and then
games every day.
all of this is to be determined based on COVID.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's yeah.
Continue.
COVID has the last say so.
Speaking of COVID, that runs us right to college football. This afternoon, it was announced that the Florida Gators had to shut down all operations because of an outbreak of COVID with the Gators.
Surprise.
No, we're not surprised. It
No,
was
You
just a
said
matter of
Florida,
time.
right?
So, Ed, what happened this weekend other than that? Because I know that just came down hot off the presses this afternoon. What else you got?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead real quick and just mention the other 2 COVID cases since it's in our minds right now. Vanderbilt in Missouri has been postponed this weekend because Vandy may not have the required 53 players available for SEC play because of they have players already in the quarantine under COVID quarantine restrictions. Baylor and Oklahoma State has been rescheduled, which was supposedly this weekend for December because they have 28 active positive player results and an additional 14 staff positives. And then kicking off this past weekend review, Texas A&M took down said Florida Gators 41-38 in Texas. But what is interesting now that Big Red just came out with the news about Florida and their outbreak is that Texas A&M, if you watch that game, they had an announced attendance of 25,000. Of course, that stadium is one of the biggest in the country of 100. They hold 102,000. But if you looked at the game visually, it looked like there was absolutely no space available. And they didn't have a sellout, but the entire lower bowl was pretty much full. And the Florida head coach made reference to that in his post-game press conference, requesting that Florida actually open up their stadium this weekend, which was supposed to be against LSU in the Swamp. But again, stay tuned for that.
And he wanted 90,000. He wanted the whole stadium full.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. So
in Florida,
whether or not they got it from Texas, because Texas obviously we know is a hot spot, and Florida, which is a hot spot, we don't know where exactly that came from, but right. In the other big game that was not necessarily a big game, but it turned out to a exciting game. Nick Saban improved to 22-0 against his former assistants. Alabama struggled.
Defense.
Well, not struggled. They beat Ole Miss 63-48, and
No
absolutely
defense.
no defense. It set a record, an SEC record as far as yards and points in a game. And then they have Georgia coming in this weekend in Tuscaloosa, and another former disciple with Kirby Smart being the head coach of the Bulldogs. Dabo again continued his exhibition season, annual exhibition season by
Miami
by dumping Miami 42-17, and really that's not really really isn't indicative of the game. 7 of those points came by a blocked field goal attempt by Clemson, and they pretty much jogged the whole game. It was Clemson will be in the college football playoff moving forward if we have one. In quadruple overtime, Oklahoma beat Texas in the annual Red River rivalry, 53-45. Again, it's what it is. Vanderbilt again. Okay, so that's where we are. Again, this weekend's big game was supposedly the Georgia game against Alabama. So hopefully that goes off because the LSU Florida game probably will not. That's where we stand with college football.
Yeah. LSU ready to pack it in anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy. COVID has affected college football tremendously because they didn't get to practice, they didn't get their thing, they didn't get to get their paid to poor little small school down the street to come in so they can tune up and sharpen their skills. And to see the SEC, with the exception of Georgia, look like the Big 12 is actually revolting.
It's embarrassing. But we had an outlier this past weekend with Mississippi State, who started SEC play on fire by downing LSU. Of course, LSU isn't LSU what they were. And this supposed air raid with Mike Leach, new head coach Mike Leach, they went to Kentucky this weekend and scored 2 points. That was by a safety.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, you know what happened? Mike Leach, while that air raid is fun, when you got to play each week a SEC team and play in that physical league, you get beat up. So he got away with it week 1. Week 2, I think they scored like 13 points. Now, all them people down there in Mississippi State all beat the hell. And people ain't coming. They're like, you ain't going to embarrass me out here. This is SEC football, so it's crazy. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that Bama-Georgia game. That will tell a lot about Bama for the season. And, Kirby might be the first. We will see. We will see.
One question. My eyes might have deceived me, but is North Carolina actually ranked number 5 right now in college football?
They don't have no choice. But
Matt
hold on. Think about it. There really is no choice, and I'm not minimizing the success of North Carolina.
Yes, you are.
Tar Heels.
But if you look at the scenario, I think they were ranked like maybe number 8 coming into this past weekend, which again is high. But don't forget, everyone's not playing right now. The Big Ten still is not playing. The Pac-12 is not playing yet. So
they didn't matter anyway.
Hey, Ed,
right, well,
Notre Dame right?
I think they might be up to 4 by now. Is that it? Are they up to 4?
Yeah, don't get carried away with Notre Dame. They got to go see Clemson.
Hey, I got to miss my Golden Domers. I don't care.
Throw the whole season away.
But it doesn't even feel like college football right now because with all these, like, it's okay with the NFL as far as, trying to make sure they get a season in. These are professionals being paid. We talked about this again. This is nothing new. But with college football and, some teams playing conference only, some teams not even being playing football yet. Every other week we have these massive outbreaks. It just doesn't it doesn't sit right with me. This whole season doesn't sit right with me. Something seems like morally wrong with these kids out there playing football right now.
And
as
the country continues to have a massive influx and spread of COVID throughout this country, and it's growing and growing and growing, I think college football will be shut down.
Yeah.
They need to shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we will see. All right, so enjoy the college football while you can, because you never know which week your team will be able to play based on COVID.
And ranked in the top 10.
And they could be ranked in the definitely top 25.
National championship. Because everybody else is sick.
Sounds like an
On to the Major League Baseball playoff update. You funny, J3. Hats off to the Atlanta Braves. They swept the Florida Marlins 3-0 to reach the National League Championship Series. They were also they're going to face or are currently facing the also previously undefeated LA Dodgers, who swept the Padres 3-0. Right now, the Atlanta Braves in game 2 of the series are currently up 4-0 on the Dodgers. The Dodgers had some bad situation happen where their ace, Clayton Kershaw, couldn't take the start today because he was having back spasms, so he may be out for a while. So it looks like the Braves are going to have a severe advantage, and if this lead holds up, it's the top of the 5th, 4-0. Then with the bases loaded with only one out, Dodgers got problems.
But the Dodgers can't use Curtin Clayshaw being out as an excuse. He's horrible in the postseason. So that's not. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer in the regular season, but in the postseason, his record suggests that he's just below average. As far as the Braves are concerned, they're loaded. Their pitching staff is loaded. So this isn't a fluke. I think they're already up 1, right? I mean, as far as
they won the first game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is not a fluke I know everybody was championing the Dodgers to automatically waltz into the World Series, but it's not going. It's it's not going to be easy for them. In fact, if they lose this game, they're in trouble.
Yeah, these were the 2 best teams in the shortened season. The Dodgers were number 1, the Braves were number 2.
Mm-hmm.
In the AL, you had the hated Houston Astros, who are laughing in everyone's face. They beat the Oakland A's 3-1 to face the surprising Tampa Rays, who beat the vaunted death squad batting of the New York Yankees in Game 5 to win the series 3-2. Then Tampa comes out and beats Houston in the first 2 games. So Tampa is America's darlings right now. Everybody's hoping that the Rays will beat
the
Astros to keep them out of the World Series after a year cheating.
I don't think how crazy would that be, man? If the Astros won the World Series after a year, after all that,
trying to prove.
Yeah, they've been talking mad trash when they won the last series. They was talking mad trash. So I'm like, y'all can say what you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody outside of Houston is hoping that the Rays take them down, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not, but that's only because I want to see Dusty Baker get a ring.
I was going to say, yeah, Dusty Baker. I want to see him win one.
I mean, other than that,
But how would baseball feel about a Atlanta Tampa World Series?
That would be something else.
That stink.
They would blame it on the COVID. They would blame it 2020.
But I can tell you though, Atlanta is a great baseball town. They would be jumping.
Oh, absolutely. Tomahawk chop and everything.
That's true.
I agree with you, but you would basically eliminate 90% of the country from watching the
whole West Coast for sure.
Midwest, West Coast, all that's done. So yeah, they are hoping that the Dodgers can do something to pull this back. All right, Professor, it's time. What Derrick Henry do? We heard you, J3.
I was getting ready to say Derrick Henry just mean mug somebody, just threw him out the way and kept on going. Good Lord.
That's what he did.
That big back from Bama.
Ooh, man.
Oh, tied. 5-0 Atlanta now.
That big back from Bama.
That big back from Bama.
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's how we grow them down south. All right, Professor, it's time for your takes, partner.
All right, so welcome. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the post takes. So we're going to do this in countdown mode, starting at number 10. Okay, let's begin with a bookend of the NBA. Congratulations to the NBA champions. It could not have been a better storybook ending. Losing Kobe Bryant in January and the Lakers returning to prominence in October 2020. He truly is pleased with LBJ keeping his promise and the reason Kobe gave his consent to LBJ coming to Los Angeles. Hats off to Jimmy Buckets and the Miami Heat for an unbelievable season. They will be contenders for years to come. Congratulations to Sue Bird and the Seattle Storm for another successful season culminated by a WNBA title. Yes, give it up. Give it up. Their biggest foe, however, will be the salary cap during this offseason. Talented starters and defensive stalwarts Alicia Clark and Natasha Howard are due substantial raises. This would mean that crucial veteran depth on the bench may have to be sacrificed. We will pay attention and see how this goes. We know that SCs can split up championship caliber teams. So we'll see how that goes. Salary caps are a big deal. Number 8, Khabib Nurmagomedov, whatever. You know this his name, right? Always
really, Professor.
Yeah, lost. But for real though, y'all. Khabib lost his dad. Prayers go out to this great fighter. He is scheduled to fight Justin Gaethje at UFC 254 this month on October 24th. A victory would be his 29th. He said that his dad's plan for him was to go 30-0, so he has informed Dana White that reaching 30-0 would be it for him. It is widely believed that Khabib would want to fight St. Pierre for his last fight to end his career. Dana White said publicly that he has been a great fighter and great for the UFC, and he would give Khabib whatever he wants. I know that we all would respect his retirement, but know that we would be cheated out of some great future fights. Number 7, are the Yankees gone already? Can they trade Philly for Joe Girardi? I want him back. Send Aaron Boone packing. Putting the ball in play keeps you alive. Sometimes just being bombers get shut down when good pitching cools an aerial assault. So just note that. Number 6, rest in honor Hall of Famer second baseman Joe Morgan of the Big Red Machine of the 1970s. As a member of the Cincinnati Reds, he was the only second baseman to win back-to-back National League MVPs in 75 and 76. He also made 10 All-Star teams, won 5 Golden Gloves, and was elected to the Hall of Fame on first ballot in 1990. Number 5, here's a flashback for you. The Houston Astros are down 0-2 again. Last year, they were down 0-2 to the Nats, and that is when the cheating began. I am sure that it should be dishonest to the game is calling them tonight. The Tampa Bay Rays are poised to make the World Series, and I am sure that they will have some extra eyes and ears watching those Astros officially. SEC defense is poo-poo.
Watch it now.
When was the last time? Listen now. When was the last time you say that? This includes Alabama, LSU, and Florida. We are less than halfway through college football season, and 6 SEC teams ranked 53 or lower in total defense. Folks, there are only 76 college football teams playing right now. Some are saying that Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss offense is the culprit, and it might be the air raid from Texas Tech as well. But this still comes as no excuse to so much sloppy defensive play. It was sickening to watch Alabama give up 48 points. Certainly not used to that. Does anyone believe EVP Stephen Jones? And we talked about this earlier. He has declared that Dak Prescott is still our future. Let me clear my throat. If that were true, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys would have paid him and worked out an amicable deal. It is possible that may not have been trying to do everything he could to prove Jones wrong if he were allowed to play without pressing. Anyone that knows football understands that you don't want your QB running through the teeth of a defense. Too many times we have seen this end badly for mobile quarterbacks that don't take chunk yards and then go down. They don't run like running backs, and it gets them hurt. Number 2, New Orleans Saints. Do we have a problem? Why is it that the offensive coach, Sean Payton, is so predictable now? Has he not adjusted to this year's NFL? Does he
Nope.
not think that defensive coordinators watch video? Sometimes being called an offensive genius can go to a coach's head. And number one, LeBron James is NBA champion for the 4th time. Don't get carried away. He is still a ways to go to be considered the GOAT. It is a different game, and he is the greatest of this era. But no one can argue that he benefited from a change in the rules, a more finesse league, and a style conducive for more offense. I am sure that people would like to chime in on this, so I will post on our Facebook page and we can let the debate begin. Those are the post takes for tonight. I turn it back over to you, Big Reg.
And just to add on about Dak Prescott, just so everyone knows, while we all wish Dak again a speedy recovery and hope he gets back to his full self, Dak's going to be all right. Like Ed said earlier, besides Dak earning $35 million in his first 5 years in the NFL, Dak was very smart. He and his brothers purchased a loss of income or catastrophic loss insurance policy that is going to pay Dak somewhere in to 30 to 40 plus million dollars if he does not get the contracts that he was slated to get, or if he can't play anymore. So Dak's going to be all right, just so everybody knows.
Amen.
Prayers out to him.
Some other things that caught our eye this week. We got to say congrats to the king of clay, Rafael Nadal.
Oh, yeah.
With his victory over Novak Djokovic, Nadal got his 13th French Open title and his record-time 20th men's Grand Slam, tying in with the great Roger Federer. We also got to shout out 19-year-old Iga Swiatek for her win over American Sofia Kenin, her first Grand Slam title. Swiatek becomes the first Polish player, male or female, to win a Grand Slam. But great job for Kenin, who came from being probably the 5th or 6th ranked American female tennis player in the world to now she's the number 1 American and made 2 Grand Slam finals this year, including her victory at the Australian Open earlier this year. I got to say, real hats off to my man, Lewis Hamilton. I know a lot of y'all are F1 fans, but Hamilton got his 91st F1 Grand Prix victory, tying with the great Michael Schumacher, which is fabulous. And what was great, the Schumacher family presented Hamilton with one of Schumacher's Mercedes helmets on the podium and said that Michael wanted him to have it. So he's passing the baton on. And then later in the evening, I saw a report that Hamilton said this is actually his second helmet. After his first race in F1, which he actually raced against Schumacher, and Schumacher won that race, he went to him through intermediaries and asked him if he could have his helmet, and he gave him his helmet. So now, first race, time for the all-time lead in F1 victories, gets 2 helmets. So hats off to Lewis Hamilton. He gets a chance in 2 weeks to break it, and looking to tie Schumacher for 7 yearly titles soon. For you people here in the U.S., NASCAR, Chase Elliott wins the Charlotte Road Course Oval, or what they call the Roval. It's his 4th straight road course victory. That brings NASCAR to its final 8, which includes Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, and Alex Bowman for the race for the Final 4 in the NASCAR Cup. And for you pugilists out there, the number 1 pay-per-view of the year happens this Saturday. And guess what? It's not pay-per-view. This Saturday night on ESPN, Vasily Lomachenko takes on Teofimo Lopez to unify the lightweight titles. And you heard it right, on regular ESPN, Saturday night, 10 p.m., you can see 2 of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world duke it out, and the winner walks out with the IBF, WBO, WBA, and Ring Magazine 135 lightweight championships. That's what fighting should be. That's what they need to do. The best fight the best and make it happen.
Put up or shut up.
You say that fight to be free? It's free 99?
Free.
ESPN.
Free
ESPN.
Free.
And for anybody that didn't happen to catch UFC this weekend, do yourself a favor and Google Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah.
Knockout of the year, second round. He throws a kick. His opponent catches the kick. Then he pivots and hits him with another spinning back kick and knocks him out cold. You got to see it. Can't believe. You got to see it to believe it. It is absolutely crazy. That's why you need to watch UFC.
Yeah,
People get knocked up out. Yes, Jay Wills.
Just wanted to add one thing to the items that caught our eye. Avery
We ain't
Bradley.
did it yet.
That's not what we're doing right now?
Yes, sir. That's what we're doing right now. J3 watching football. Go ahead.
Avery Bradley, the point guard that didn't go into the bubble with the Lakers, who sat out to protect his family. Bradley and his wife, they donated over $30,000 to the WNBA. Wife named Ashley. They supported the WNBA players in the bubble with an emphasis on those who have children. The couple donated over $30,000 in supplies to the league's players. So I thought that was worth noting.
Nice.
Heck,
Nice.
if he pawns his ring, he can donate even more because they're gonna get a ring.
Right.
No, Jenny Buss says he was getting a ring.
Yeah, he is getting definitely.
He should get a ring. He shouldn't be penalized because he's concerned about his health. He shouldn't be penalized for that.
He the number one seed, man.
Give him Dwight Howard's ring.
Bro,
Wow.
You mean Dion Waiters?
Right. I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, he should get a ring.
But speaking of Jean, I wanted to add one thing. I wanted to give her a shout out for being the first female owner to win an NBA title. That's definitely like something to shout about and something for young girls to look up to and say, if she could do it, I could do it. So
What's up, Phil Jackson? Did you congratulate her?
Marry into the money, but okay.
Yeah, he'll be sending that "Hey stranger" text.
Hey, Trini.
Hey, stranger,
Congratulations.
How you doing?
Right. Can I get back? I'm sorry.
Y'all wrong for that. Y'all
Oh, you
wrong
all
for
up on me now. Like,
Back up. Social distance, 6 feet.
She ain't trying to mess with that old man anymore.
You don't know that.
All right, fellas. It's time for the final post so we can go ahead and get up out of here. Since you're the special guest this evening, what you got for me?
I just want to tell everybody stay safe out there. Numbers have increased, especially in the DC area, and like they now have another wave of COVID now being airborne, and people advise people to stay 12 feet away instead of 6 feet. It's crazy. So continue to wear your mask, continue to wash your hands, be safe. Yeah.
With that. Jay Wills, what you got for us this evening, partner?
Well, I promised that I wouldn't take my shirt off, but my son did. That's just for me, man.
That's good, one. That's good. Professor, what you got?
Yeah, I'm not jealous of anything. I'm gonna just put that misnomer out there first. But did you guys see the gift that LeBron James gave his daughter with that big, massive playhouse? It was beautiful. Today is my daughter's 19th birthday, and I'm gonna tell you, baby girl,
Happy birthday.
get you the biggest house imaginable that you want. Just holler at your daddy. But happy birthday, Autumn. We love you. Keep making us proud.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday. Ed, what you got, brother?
it's crunch time, everybody. The election is coming up very, very soon. I will just encourage everybody to act. First of all, vote. If you haven't registered, register, and have a plan and implement it. Wherever that may be, whether you plan to go to the actual polls, whether you plan to mail in your vote, whatever you do, just have a plan and make sure it's solid and then implement it. That's it. Everyone be safe.
Yes.
I agree, brother. J3.
So real quick, I'm gonna give a shout out to a conference that we really don't talk about a lot, and that's the ACC. A little cousin, Jared Garner, got his first touchdown, 52-yarder for Duke University as a receiver. So I want to give him some love. Absolutely. Congratulations, Jared. Keep doing what you're doing, and like I said, keep your head right.
Yes, sir. Call us.
Chicken in your mentals.
He's gonna be a bad boy, and with that piece of paper that he's gonna come out of there with, his future's gonna be bright. I just like to chime in and add on to what Ed said. For any of you who follow me on Facebook, y'all would have saw this Saturday that I posted that my family, my Maryland family, we voted Saturday. We not only requested our mail-in ballots, we filled them out last week, and I personally took my ballot to the PG County office. I dropped it off in the drop box. By Monday, went on the site, followed up, and it showed that all of our ballots have been received, and they will be counted.
Amen.
So,
yeah.
A lot of people are preferring to go vote in person. If you can, and you feel safe to do that, do it early. Even if you're going early, have a plan, because as we've seen so far, some people down in Georgia, they had lines that lasted 10 hours for early voting. So make a plan, bring yourself a chair, bring a snack or some lunch if you're going to vote in person, but try to vote early. If you're voting by mail, as soon as you get your ballot, fill it out. Make sure you read the directions carefully and do everything so that you can ensure that they won't invalidate your ballot. And if you have the capability, or you know someone who has the capability, have them take it to whatever your city, county, state's election drop box off. I know here in Maryland, the drop boxes were guarded by state troopers. We're sitting in the parking lot watching the drop boxes, and they're picking it up. So it's very safe.
Bowie Jim.
Vote. If you want to make a
Arena.
difference, you got to vote. If you don't vote, you let the minority rule the majority. On that note, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and the opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. Please tune in next Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our live show. You can also download this show and previous shows on our YouTube page or via our Facebook page. If you visit, we greatly appreciate it if not only you would like on Facebook, but for YouTube, if you please subscribe. It is free, doesn't cost you anything. The YouTube channel is Positions on Sports Talk Show. The Facebook is at Positions on Sports. We appreciate all the support. Tell your friends, family members, if they want to listen to some fellas and women talk sports, just like you do every day in your household. Please tune in each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We appreciate your time. Have a wonderful evening. Have a great week. Please stay safe and be very, very careful out there. This has been the Positional Sports Talk Show. Peace.
God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.